This is Warship Craft, a good game. And I don't know if it's a good game because it's the only thing I have, or it's because it's a genuinely good game. I've had this game for years. It has like a cult community, but not a lot of people. So if you're also somebody who wants to build and design warships, but if you want to be able to do it on mobile, well, here you go. And I also, I feel a lot of empathy with the dev, because the game will be silent. All of a sudden you'll have like an update, and then a few more like months of silence. I don't know how long it'll be, but the dev is working on this thing. It's just clearly that they have other things going on in their life, which I relate to. The designs for things have gotten a lot better. Like, they had a Bismarck you could buy, and he straight up removed it, because to be fair, it didn't look a lot like Bismarck. These are the guns that Bismarck was armed with, and they look nothing like Bismarck's actual guns. Whereas you look at the Scharnhorst guns, they were added in the most recent update, and they're great. This started out kind of as like as I've grown up the tech tree, basically. It's where I throw the stuff I don't use anymore, has nowhere to go. But it kind of became a love letter, or a passion project, because I do love Japanese ships. The ones that were just like pagoda masts and like all the guns. If you add any height at all, especially all this height and all this weight up here, that they like to tip over. So these wings are just to make sure it does not tip over. I don't know, there's some sort of glitch where that makes more sense to be as hydrodynamic as possible. But like this, the opposite way, that's what increases your speed. So basically design your ship's hull with these parts and then invert them. That's what gives you your speed. And when I say speed, yeah, I've hidden 4 Akagi boilers in here. The smokestack for the boiler is like what generates your power. So you can't have a power plant. Like, what I did is that basically the only way you can have a hidden power plant. So if you want a ship just to have one funnel, and you want the funnel to look a certain way, but you want to have game viable speed, you got to do some tricks. Another notable trick is with almost any ship in general, you'll want 2 propellers, and you'll want them to be in these like channels of like 3 blocks, or 4 or 5. I don't know exactly how much. There's like toughness versus armor. I don't know what, like stability versus balance angle. Like it's really difficult to like really know what you're doing, so you just kind of have to figure out as you go. It's more of an art than a science. There probably is a science to it, but I don't know that. The speeds are utterly unrealistic, but the other ships have such high speeds too, you really need the high speed to match them. One of the things I just find the funniest about these sorts of games is just the way you do Minecraft, where you're using things for their unintended purpose. Like these are just fences, but like I try to use those to make a rangefinder up top. This is obviously not a realistic game. But it still tries to force you to certain things, like a little bit of an overhang. No, you can't do that. Especially with these, like, that's the footprint of the gun, even though it could be made smaller. So you can do that, which isn't realistic, and they'll let you do that. But if you want to do that, nope, it's just certain things. Now, you might think this is a pretty heavy anti-aircraft battery. No. To have a reasonable chance of defending against an air attack, you're going to need something like this. It's a ship you may recognize, and like, this is ridiculous. Again, some things need to be balanced. The dual purpose guns, I wish they had an option to like make them fire automatically, because the AI targeting is so much better, because you have no way to target other than just Kentucky windage in this game. I wish they had better targeting for yourself. But yeah, I'll show you. Let's compare. But those are the automatic guns coming in. See, I'm taking damage, mainly to my bridge and to my engine. At least my external one. See my speed dropping. Because if your engines get hit, that will affect, or your boilers, That will affect your speed. I think I can try. Maybe I can get through this battle, actually. Okay, I'm coming in within 20 kilometers. I'm going to want to start angling out so I can get my good old broadside. Come along like this, and fire. You see, you have there's no target tracking, so you need to keep constantly moving your camera with your thumbs while also firing, and here's a good representation of like what level of AA you need. There they come. I'll even engage them with my long distance guns until the AA can open up, just to try to get a fighting chance. Watch the destruction. There's one turret gone. There's my bridge. Speed dropping off. But don't tell me I survived that. Well, that's kind of underwhelming. I did not expect to survive that. But you see how few aircraft I shot down. Now, with Thunderchild, just watch. To be fair, I'll engage with my long-range guns. Really want to engage the bombers, because that's what does most of the damage. Okay, my guns are opening up. You see this cloud of AA. My bridge is already gone. One boiler's gone, I believe. Both frontal turrets are gone. That went better than expected, but like, I think it's the high-speed tests where you're really, like, crippled. But I won't let you sit through that. Let me just show you an example of like how I wish we were as accurate as the AI. So I'm gonna go against Yamato with this beast that I've made, which is like, this is what you need to like reliably take out Yamato. See, I keep like, you can't even see where I'm tapping, but I'm like, I can tap too far forward, too far back, but unless I'm like within 10 kilometers, I can't come up with the range. But then when I do, it's, you know, it's over. Which is pretty easy, but when you're with like a normal ship, like, I'm already turning over on one side. And she's barely losing any health. There we go, she capsized. That's how bad aiming is by yourself, but like when you have fleet sortie levels where it's like you choose one ship to play yourself and then you choose ships that the AI plays as, I'm gonna play as my recreation of a realistic Thunderchild, and then you give the AI the ships I was having such trouble aiming with. Watch what they can do. Immediately starting firing and scoring hits. That just doesn't seem fair. I literally don't have to do anything. Your air group can get destroyed by gunfire and by bombs, so I just armored it. And I don't know if you can have like a hangar space, but I at least started out building this assuming all your aircraft had to be on the same level as your runways. So I just have the platonic ideal of an armored flight deck. And the guns I added them specifically for taking out Yamato. I need to come in close and bust up their guns with my own guns to give my flight group any chance. This is an insane flight group, but it's all free to play. And you have your D31, your Dauntless, your Suisse. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And a Fairy Swordfish. Your only fighter is Assault with Pup. But if you want to pay money, you get the Avenger, the B5N, the Spitfire, BF-109, Wildcat, the Corsair, the Zero. And you can see how, like, carrier battles and airbase battles, because, of course, the airbase, the AI, they get the good stuff. And I'll just launch my whole flight group, which is a heavy mix of fighters, bombers, and 4 Fairy Swordfish. And yes, I have to tap every time I want to launch an aircraft. There's the Fairy Swordfish. These 5-inch 54s, they're pretty good guns for AA work. I have to go up. Slow down to stop outside of their range. I said outside of their gun range. Rückwärts. I don't think I have a flight group anymore. Oh, well, no. That might have been the Swordfish. Something happened. Okay, now let's just start piling on. Trying to shoot down those little AA guns. Shoot down? Shoot. Oh, look at him go. I still can't. A bit too close for comfort here. Have I not launched my full air group yet? No, I'm recovering aircraft. See, I'm just trying to take out her AA and let my aircraft do their thing. But I'm being hammered. You can see them trying to sortie. You do get a pretty cool visual, though, if there are no enemy fighters to attack. Your own fighters will just strafe the enemy and do chip damage, and that's pretty cool to see. That might be a thumbnail, actually. Okay, dive bombers did nothing. I still have... Capsize. Now it's just Yamato. See if I can increase speed and maybe get my other flight deck out of the water. They sunk her. You see, it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. Give her a little broadside action. You see, with Yamato and the ships you can buy, they look more realistic, but as kind of a result of the game's early state, before the dev got a lot better, a lot of the ships don't look that realistic compared to how they should. In the Battle of Denmark Strait, you get to see Prinz Eugen and Bismarck, and the Bismarck design is the one that you used to be able to buy, and that's a good example of like an intermediate stage where it was going towards a more realistic route, but still was obviously not where we are now. Yeah, there you go. You can see. I'll show some screenshots. And Prinz Eugen, true to form, is just a smaller Bismarck. Which, by the way, I recently watched Sink the Bismarck, and I mean, it was a good movie. It was historically accurate enough. But the battle scenes were kind of underwhelming for me because, like, the amount of time these naval battles took, which, granted, again, you couldn't show that in a movie, otherwise it'd be the entire movie, if not longer. But I wish there was more dedicated to that. But I wouldn't cut anything else, so I wish it was just a longer movie. Maybe a 4-hour long movie, probably, in my mind. Here's where these 5 inches really shine as AA guns. Would you think this doesn't look like good performance? This is pretty good performance for manually aimed AA. I wish these had like an automatic mode. You can turn them on automatic like the smaller AAR. Did it! Didn't expect that, honestly. Okay, so the correct way... So normally when I want to farm gold, and the way I suggest you farm gold, is just to do this. And the last few, for some reason for me, have a trouble firing. No matter what configuration I have them in. To see such a dedicated developer, somebody who's like been working for years on something and like seeing them grow and get better at it, and eventually, because like North Carolina, I bought her. She wasn't available a few years ago. I hope whatever's going on in the dev's life, I hope they're able to get that sorted out to be able to develop. Ideally, you know, like the dream, quit their job and be the developer for this game full time and start making money from it. And, you know, for that reason, I'd love to actually support them. Buying some crystal one day. Right now, I'm in the same boat of like, I need money. Which is why I'm doing this. And I'm still inconsistent, which is, again, because I have my own life things, which is, I think the dev might have similar, you know, life things. Whether they're just busy or they may have mental health problems like I do. But they've also built such a community of just people around the world creating so many interesting things. And I wish he had more time that he could put into it to add more levels, add more ships you could buy, polish out the mechanics, the grinding and the weaponry, just to make things more balanced. And just, I've had this for literally years, and even when Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, I finally get my hands on a PC and get to play that, I'll still be playing this. Because it's got a spot in my heart. And I think more people should know about it.